Welcome YouTube community, this is Andres256, and there was a series I did called Weighing Me Down, but I never got it, I never finished it. Sorry, I gotta close the door. I never finished it, and well, damn it to hell! Somebody noticed and took a liking to it. Man, Faux Hawk Central right here. Someone noticed and took a liking to what would have been a show, and I didn't fully keep up with it for school or whatever reason. So I want to bring it back, and I want to do episode 2, and I want to make this a weekly thing, like I said, and I want to be consistent with it this time and not screw up. I've got different topics now. Back then, that was shot in 2012. I've changed a lot since 2012. I know it's only 2016, but that's 4 years difference. I graduated in the video. Obviously, I was talking about school and the shitty registrar and all that bullshit. And there was a happy ending to that. With the girl, just to recap, because obviously I didn't recap, and I want to recap. 4 years fucking later, I recap. With the girl, stuff got in the way. We didn't end up being together. She turned out to be a succubus, I believe. Yeah. And it turned out to be really shitty, so that was alright. And with time, I've read more books. I read a lot in college. I had a record 10 or 11 or 12 books in a year for a college student. I think that's pretty goddamn impressive, because college students have to deal with books, tests, professors, and all that other shit. So with that being said, here's my little recap. And the relationship with my sisters got even better, so thank you for that. My good friend and I, we still talk. This is going to be What's Weighing Me Down, episode 2. So that's just a little preface. And now I want to do the show. So here we go. What's Weighing Me Down, episode 2. Thank you, YouTube community, for sticking with me. I know consistencies of my videos have gotten crazy because life has gotten crazy and it's gotten super and ultra charged. So I want to talk about some new stuff. Number 1, job. I had a job, and then my buddy offered me, a position for his donut shop called Delectable Donuts, and I didn't want to do it because I didn't feel like I was getting paid enough, and I felt like my life was going in a different direction, and it got a little complicated, and I hope he wants to talk to me, and I think he's still pretty pissed off, but I'm not sure because I haven't contacted him in a while, and I want him to have space. I'm looking for I've been applying for a bunch of different positions, just looking into the camera so I don't look like a weirdo. Copywriting positions, reporter positions, I think some marketing ones, but some of those have been scams. Oh, I also have a brand new shirt as well after the 4 years. If you watch my other videos, not in the Weighing Me Down show, because this is like a show. Job. So I've been applying for a bunch of places, and my buddy wants to help me apply for a ton of places. But I was working as a busser at a pub called Baker Street, and it was very, very, very good. I was making $5.25 an hour plus tips, but I started as a dishwasher. That was kind of shitty, and then I worked up to being a busser, and I met a lot of good friends there. Not even sure they watch this, but if they don't, I don't think names are relevant. But my boss was really cool. He gave me a shot to be on the front of the house. I learned a lot. They cross-trained me how to make salmon and chicken, and I even made a rack of ribs, which was really cool, and it was a good position, but I had to bust my ass. Every Saturday, I'll never forget, I had this thing called a Bloody Mary table I had to take down, and it was a pain in the fucking ass. It took 20 to 25 minutes out of my schedule to do this on top of my regular shift. I worked 6 or 7 hours, sometimes longer per shift. Sometimes I was hitting 40 weeks, other times I was hitting 30, sorry, not 40 weeks, 40 hours, and other times I was hitting 30, but the money was decent, so I was pretty excited. And then when my buddy said, hey man, I have this position lined up for you, do you want to go? I was almost all in. I was basically all in, and then he told me some things, and I just decided that's not what I want to do. I want to do something different. I want to be a writer, and for me to pursue that dream, it's going to take maybe a hard road. I'm also, you know, believe in God, so I believe He's got a plan for me. So that's a good thing there. Number 2 on what's weighing me down. Women. Surprise, fucking surprise. But I've got advancements on that. And one of my advancements is I'm talking with this girl right now, and I asked her for her number, and she gave it to me, and you know, life is really good in that aspect, even though I'm not having a job. But I talked to her. She gave me her number, so we're talking, and it's really great. And not only that, she has some of the same qualities I want. She wants to be a writer too, and that's unreal. She has a cat. It's pretty baller, I guess. I'm not a really big cat person, but it's kind of cool. I'm not gonna mention her name because she'd flip if she knew I was doing a video about her. So, but I'm very excited because it's, if we do get to date, I'm not saying we will or won't, but I'm just stoked to have her number because it's been a while since I asked a girl for her number and she actually gave it to me, and it's not fake, so that's even more exciting. That puts my charisma through the roof. It puts my ego a little through the roof. But that's just kind of an update of what's going on. I recently found out there's a girl that liked me, and then here's another story I'll tell you. The way she flirted was she started punching me at church, and I have a feeling she was flirting, but at the time I was going for another girl. It always happens like that. Get into these traps of like, oh, girl is awesome. Oh, wait, she's flirting with me by punching me? What the hell? But I recently talked to her today, and she was all excited. She's like, I was actually flirting with you. I wasn't just like punching you because I can. Women and their techniques, man. We should do a series about that, women and their techniques, but I don't want to because I don't know enough. Not even close. But that's what she said. She's like, I was flirting with you, and I was like, I think I knew, but I didn't do anything in response because I was targeting a different girl. Yada yada yada. The other thing is she's pretty cool, and I asked her to hang out, and she wants to, so that's exciting. We're not dating or anything, which is fine. I want to be friends with that particular girl because she's pretty cool. But there was this other girl at church I met, and like we were vibing really well and stuff. And I asked her, and I was like, "Yo, like, do you want to sit down?" She said she was new. We got into a conversation about writing, and about journalism, and about that she had worked at a magazine. And I'm just thinking, like, either she's a guardian angel, or this chick is like everything I've wanted for a long time. But will I gel with her? And our personalities weren't clashing at all. It was all going well. So we sit down. We're in church. We're sitting down, and I'm like, "Yo, you want to sit down?" I didn't want to be a creeper. I was like, "Yo, you want to sit down?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'll sit down with you." And I was like, "You're new, so we should sit down together." And we did. And then at the end of the service, it was a pretty goddamn amazing service. I was like, "Well, what's next for you? What are you gonna do, like, afterwards?" And she didn't really have a response. We just started talking, having a good conversation. I was like, "Well, there's a group for like new people that need to connect with people that have been here for a while. Do you want to go to that?" She's like, "Yeah." And then she said, "Well, I'll see you around at church." And then I just ended, because I was going to ask her to go to Old Chicago or wherever we were going to go, Chick-fil-A or whatever the hell it was. And so that died, and I was kind of thinking about it when I went back home, and I was like, man, this girl is really awesome. How come the energy just decided to die? And maybe it's something on her end, maybe something on my end. I don't know about this shit. I've been meeting a ton of awesome women at church. She is pretty awesome to me because of just common interests. I like girls that have common interests. It's hard to find them that have common interests. The girl that flirted with me, she wanted to have a beer or whatever when she comes back. She's out of country. And she's pretty chill, and I was like, well, I mean, what do women find sexy about a guy sometimes that they're not afraid to say, but you just want to get like a sense of where they're at? And I'm a lot older now. Like I said, the weighing me down concept started back in 2012, so again 4 years ago, and I never actually did the follow-up video, which is sad because I think the series had a lot of potential, or the show had a lot of potential, as witnessed by this person that likes my show. So I thought maybe give it another shot, make it consistent. So let's keep talking about the topic of women. She was telling me that she found me to be attractive because I had a warming nature about myself, but I was also mature. Ladies and gentlemen, it took me a long time to get mature. I went to college when I was 17, so I had a long ways to go, and I'm considered a late bloomer, which fucking sucks, but I've really, really come into my own. I've gotten a lot of confidence. I mean, yada yada yada, like a Jewish person. Yada yada yada, you know what I'm saying? Yada this, yada that, yada, and then toss the dreidel. Let that baby spin. I wish I had a dreidel, because I love my Jewish brothers, Matisyahu and the rest. And dreidels are cool to spin. But she told me some very, very humanistic qualities, and she's being very truthful, and I was very excited. So that was very good. Very, very good. Oh, no! Come back here. Don't fall asleep on me, you bastard! Number 3. Reading. Recently, with the whole reading thing, because it was weighing me down episode 1, if you watched it, which thank you if you did, it only has like 17 views. I don't get a lot of views on my channel for whatever reason, and that's a little discouraging, because I think, like I say, I have a lot of fun doing this. I don't do it for money or anything necessarily. If it came a money opportunity, I'd probably jump on it in a heartbeat because it'd be fun. And I enjoy doing these videos, as you notice from my demeanor. But reading. I decided to go on Goodreads.com, and if you haven't gone on that site, Goodreads.com, it's a place where you look at books that people can recommend for you. It's a place where you can basically put what you've read. And like I said, people recommend books. They recommend just a bunch of stuff, and you can see what they've read and be like, oh, holy shit, War and Peace, that sounds baller. Even though Tolstoy's not very baller to me. He's more of a drag. Very, very, very dry-ass prose and shit, so... Yuck, Tolstoy. Yucky. I haven't really read any Russian authors that I can tell you about. But essentially, reading. I made it wasn't even a fucking New Year's resolution or anything, it was more of like, just read 15 books this year, see if you can get to that goal. Because I think I got really close in 2012, I think I got like to 12 or 13, and I wasn't even doing the goal, I just wanted to read, because reading opens up the mind, it opens up the imagination, it opens up idea processes, it opens up different ways to think, and it opens up places to transport, to travel, and to visit. Nowhere in the history of the world can you go to somewhere incredible as in a book, in my opinion. Books are so transformative by nature. You read them, you get transported to the place. You learn about the characters and you enter yourself into the character's way of thinking. Reading involves brain power, and people need more of that in today's society. I would be so for literacy campaigns. There's a lot of them, but there needs to be more. There needs to be more awareness of what reading can do in your life. It's education in a different form. Stylistically, a book is different than the internet or an article or the magazine or grant writing or technical writing. It's a stylistic choice. Reading evokes not only imagination, but it evokes voice. And what I mean by voice is the voice of the author. Voice is your style in writing, and voice is very apparent, obviously, when reading book 101, whatever. So I want to tell you about a couple books that I've been reading. Recently, I finished a book by Stephen King called The Dark Half. The Dark Half is about a guy that lives with his wife, but the past gets dredged up again, and he creates a character. I think he called him the Machine Man or some shit. I forgot the name of the character. God damn it, I had it in my head. And this character comes to life. Well, without ruining anything, the guy had a traumatic past of there was a tumor in his brain, and they found, I probably don't want to say anything, but they found something there that was out of the ordinary. So it's this exploration on that, and Stephen King does a hell of a job of weaving this narrative and telling the audience like about what's going on with this guy in this small town. I think it's in Maine. But something happens, and The Dark Half kind of gives what the book is away. So I finished that. Before I finished The Dark Half, I was reading a book called, what's it called? Not A Brief History in Time. That's wrong. Think, Andros, think. It's 12:48 a.m. and daylight savings time is fucking with me. The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Now, I highly recommend this book for a lot of reasons. It takes the hero's journey and it throws it on its ass. If you don't know what the hero's journey is, let me explain it real quick. The hero's journey is this. A character goes on a journey. Things happen to that character. Bad things normally, trials, and then they succeed. They always succeed normally. This can even happen with anti-heroes. It's an archetypal journey. Learned about this in high school. So the hero's journey is a very basic way of presenting a story for a hero. So what this does is it throws it on its ass. This story is about a character named Kofte. Kofte is an innkeeper at a pub. One day Kofte is just cleaning the table, just la-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-do, and all of a sudden a guy named Chronicler steps in. Kofte also has this like assistant dude. I forgot the assistant dude's name, but Chronicler comes in and asks Kofte about his life, because he's like, "Are you the Kofte? Are you that warrior I've heard about? The red-headed warrior? Are you Kofte?" And Kofte tells him, he's like, "Well, the funny thing about that is I'm not Kofte. I'm just an innkeeper. I'm just a run-of-the-mill innkeeper." But realistically, Kofte is that person described by Chronicler. And Chronicler decides to interview him. And Chronicler talks about his life. But rather than presenting it from kind of a hero's perspective, I'd say, it's presented through his voice, but through Chronicler. Because Chronicler is the one chronicling Kofte's life. And the book is incredible. It's about his experiences as a youth, his experiences with his family, his experiences with his love, his experiences with life in general, the lessons he's learned along the way, and how he became this innkeeper. And there's a second book, but I don't know the name of it. Now, reading topic, obviously we're going to cover a lot, because there's a lot to talk about if you read like me. I read a shit ton. I'm not an audiophile, but that's Audiophiles, music. I'm not that. I'm not a bibliophile, meaning you read like 50 books in a year or some shit. I'm not that, but I love to read. I'm reading a book right now, and it's called A Dance with Dragons. It's by George R.R. Martin. It's the last book of the series until he makes another one, and it's brilliant thus far. The last book I read, I think it was called Clash? Feast for Game of Thrones, Feast for Crows, Clash of Kings, Dances with Dragons? Clash of Kings. In my opinion, Clash of Kings, the third book, was very boring because the prose was written in such a way that all these characters are telling you something at once. Well, it doesn't go anywhere if it doesn't drive the story. The characters just stagnated and there was no driving of any story. It's like a metaphor, an allegory, not an allegory, metaphor I'll use. If you have a boat and you're steering the boat and the boat's headed somewhere, that's a good thing. There's a destination. But if you have a boat and the boat is anchored, it's stagnated. It's not going anywhere. In essence, a Clash of Kings to me was stagnated by these characters not doing anything. Yes, the writing was brilliant, don't get me wrong. George R.R. Martin has a way with characters, a very good way with characters, and you will get confused along the way, but if you keep up with the series, you'll understand certain things. So, with that in mind, that book stagnated. This book, my favorite character, her name is Daenerys Targaryen. She is the mother of dragons, or she's the queen of dragons, as she said in the book, is brilliant. She's a powerful woman. She goes after what she wants. She's very deadly, and she has fucking dragons. Who wouldn't want a woman like that? Dragons, for Christ's sakes. She's one of the most powerful characters in the book for that reason. She can think with men. She can fight with them. It's George R.R. Martin's talk on society, in my opinion, saying that women are just as powerful as men in so many areas. But this motherfucker, she will burn your ass if she sees fit. She tied people to crosses and made them bleed because they were sought to be heretics and they were going against what she thought the world should be. She could be a symbol for something, but I haven't really looked into it that much. The Game of Thrones books, in my opinion, are very deep because they can be symbological and they can be on the surface and they can be metaphors and they can be lots of stuff about how we function as a society, but the inspiration was written by the 100 Years' War, which took place in England, I believe, in which people fought over power constantly, and there was kings, and there was queens, and there was death, and there was blood, and there was incest, and there was brutality, and that's what George R.R. Martin drew from, is the 100 Years' War. The War of the Roses, as it's referred to. No idea why it's referred to War of the Roses. Maybe rose is a representation of blood on the battlefield. But the depiction is, in essence, of a real depiction of what happened in those years. And these characters, they all are vying for a seat at the Iron Throne. Nobody knows who's going to get it. There's people that have finished the books, and they have no clue who's going to win this Iron Throne. Who's going to become the king. Who metaphorically is going to rule the world. I think the Iron Throne is a metaphor for not only power, but societal hierarchy, I guess. A ruler, just a gigantic ruler that will rule everything, not just the northern lands or the southern lands, all of it. They'll rule it all. They'll be the king, the chorizo, the everything. I'm making like a swirly motion, like a tornado. Yay! Tornado! But it's not a tornado. Maybe a tornado of power. And that's pretty much it. I don't really have topics for next week, but if we continue the trend, my next video will be on a Monday, which sucks because Better Call Saul is on Monday. I think I fucking missed the episode. God horse damn it. But thank you so much for staying tuned, and I'm sorry this took 4 years to do, but I now have more motivation to do the show, and I'm very excited as where it's going. If you have comments, questions, throw me a comment or question in the comment or question box. This is Andres256 out, and thank you for joining me. Bye.